Hey, what's up, Musers? This is John at Muse for You, here to help you build awesome websites without code. And in this video tutorial, I'm going to go over the animated text widget found at museforyoushop.com. So here I have the sample website. So if I click refresh, we can see that the text animates, and we have this here that says scroll down. So if I scroll down, we have this text animating here. Muse for You, awesome websites plus no code. And I'll scroll down again. Choose from 74 different animations for the text. Animate text in and animate text out. And I'll scroll again. Animate text on load or on scroll. Add multiple instances. Change the text font, color, size, alignment, weight, tracking, and leading. Sync, shuffle, or reverse the text animation, and set the speed of the text animation. And then I have here, enjoy. So all this text was animated with the animated text widget. So I'll just go back to the shop here. Here is the widget page, and here you can click add to cart to purchase individually, or you can click subscribe to get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. Or if you'd like to subscribe with PayPal, you can click here and subscribe with PayPal. Here are the features included, a few of the widget options, and the community section. And this video will be underneath here once it's finished on the widget page. All right, so I'll go ahead and jump right into how to use the widget. So I'll open up Adobe Muse. And here I have a blank site, and to create a blank site, you can just go to File and click on New Site. And I'll just go ahead and do that, and then I'll click OK. Then I have a blank site here. All right, so here I'm on a blank site. So the first thing I'm gonna do is bring in the animated text widget. So to do that, I'm gonna go to the library panel here on the right. So I'll click on the library panel. If you don't see the library panel, you can go to Window and click on Library. Okay, and then here I'll type in animated text. So here for the widgets, we have the add first widget, we have the on load widget, and we have the on scroll widget. So animated text at first, animated text on load, and animated text on scroll. So the first widget we want to bring into our Adobe Muse website is the animated text add first. So I'll zoom out here. Here I'll click, hold, and drag and place this at the top of my Adobe Muse website. It can either be up here or here's okay as well. So I'll just place it right there. And then we can either bring the animated text on load or the animated text on scroll. On load will animate the text right away, and animated text on scroll is for animating the text when the text is in the viewport. And I'll go over both of these in this tutorial. So I'll zoom out here, and here I'll click, hold, and drag and place the on load first. So here we have the widget options. So let me go up here. So we have the instance number. For each new animated text, you'll want to change the instance number. So if you had, let's say, 2 or 3, each of them would have its own unique instance number. So 1, 2, and 3. And I'll add a few instances so we can see that, and I'll change the instance number. Here in the text section is where you'll write your text, and then we have a few text formatting options. So we can change the text color, the font size. The font size is in M's or EMs, and 1 EM equals 16 pixels. Okay, and you can also change the font weight. So with the font weight, certain fonts allow you to change the font weight, some don't. And if you wanted to use the predetermined font weight that is in the web font, sometimes you install a web font and it'll say, like Roboto Light, Roboto Medium. In that case, if you wanted to use those predetermined font weights, just set this to none. In this case, I'm going to set it to none because I'm going to use a Roboto font for the different font weights, and that already has predetermined font weights in it. So for the letter spacing, you can set the tracking, which is the spacing in between the letters. And for line height, that's the spacing in between each of the lines. And the line height is proportionate to the font size. So if the font size is 1.5 EM, then if this is set to 1, it'll be 1.5 EM as well for the line height. If this is set to 2, then it's 1.5 times 2, which would be 3 EM. So it's just kind of relative there to the font size. All right, and then for the text alignment, you can align the text to the left, center, or the right. All right, so there we have it for the text. So the next option is options. The next section is options here. And let me go over here. So here in the options, we have initial delay. So you can set a certain delay before the text starts animating. So here it's in milliseconds, so 1000 milliseconds equals 1 second. You can set a minimum display time. So this works for if you have the animation looping, and we'll go over this, but basically if it's set to loop, you're gonna have an animation in and an animation out. So the minimum display time is how much you wanna wait before the animation out kicks in. So it'll animate in, then it'll wait 2 seconds, and then it'll animate out. So here we have animate character or word, so you can animate the character or the word. You can auto start, which I would recommend if you want it to start on load, and then loop. If this is not checked, only the animation in will occur. If it's set to loop, the animation in will occur and the animation out, and then it will loop again to the animation in and then the animation out. So let's take a look real quick, because already we have animating text, and I didn't really touch any of the options. I just went over a few, the text option and the option section here. So let's go to File, Preview Page in browser, and we can see we have that animating text. Looks good. So let's say I wanted to change, and let's wait for the fade out as well. So for the initial animations, it's set to fade in for the animation in, and the animation out is set to fade out. So we have that fade in and that fade out to the text. Okay, so now I'm going to change the font for the text. So I'll go into the widget options. I'm going to make the font size a bit larger. I'm going to say 3, and we'll leave everything else the same. And then if we notice here in the widget options, it says to change the font type for the text, select the widget and then go to the built-in Adobe Muse text option in the upper toolbar. From here, you can select any web font from the fonts menu. So I'm going to change the font to Roboto Light. So I have the widget selected. So here in the, and let me close the library panel. So here in the upper toolbar where it says text, I can click the drop down and select any web font. It must be a web font and cannot be a system font. So here I'm going to type in Roboto, and I have Roboto Light here, so I'll just select it, and we can see that that text has changed to Roboto Light. And just so we can see the font change here, I'll change the font again. So I'll change it to let's see, Garamond here, and we can see that the font has changed. So I'll change it back to Roboto. So I'll say Roboto Light, and there we have the font. So I've changed the font size and the font type, and I can also resize the text container here to kind of reformat the text, and I'll center the text as well by setting the text align to center. Okay, and then we have the text. So now if I preview, there we have the text and it animates, looks good. So now I want to change the different, or the animations. So I'm gonna click on the widget options, I'm gonna go to animation in, and here are the widget options for animation in. So you can select from 74 different animations. You can set the delay scale and the delay. So basically the delay will be the delay scale multiplied by the delay. So this would be about 75 milliseconds in delay. So it's kind of just a scale here. So if you didn't want to kind of set the exact milliseconds, you could set a scale and kind of work with the delay there. You can set the animation to sync, shuffle, or reverse. Sync will animate all the text at the same time, and shuffle will animate the text kind of like randomly, like in the first preview page, the Muse for You, awesome websites plus no code text is shuffled. So the animation, the text animates all at different places, and it's not all one after another. The reverse will just animate the text in reverse. The options for animation out are the same. We have fade out here, or you can select from 74 different options, the delay scale and the delay in milliseconds, and then you can sync, shuffle, and reverse the animation. So let's pick some interesting animations just so we can see it. So for animation in, let's do bounce in up like this. And then for animation out, we'll do rotate out. All right, so let me zoom out here and let's preview. And I'll bring this down a little bit and kind of make the spacing there a little bit less in the widget container. So I'll preview, file preview page in the browser, and there we have the text animating. Then we wait 2 seconds and it rolls out, and then it repeats. Looks good. So you can have a lot of fun with this widget and really add a lot of styling to your website and make the text really interesting on your website. All right, looks good. So now I'll go back into the widget and I'll play with some of the options here. So I'll say shuffle. If you have sync and shuffle checked, sync will take precedence. So you can only have one of these checked at a time because they're all different animations. So I'll just say shuffle. So I'll select the shuffle option here and I'll preview. And we can see it just shuffles the text and animates the text differently. And because on animation out, we don't have any option selected, it just goes in a sequence. But I could also, in the animation out, shuffle as well. So that could look interesting. So there, animates in, and then kind of shuffles out, kind of in different letters shuffle out. All right, looks good. So the other thing you can do, instead of animating just the characters, you can go in the options section, and let me zoom out here, in the option, and you can animate the character or the word. So here I'll say word. And just to kind of review, the minimum display time, you notice how when the animation animated in, it waited 2 seconds, and that's the minimum display time before it animates out. So that's just that option here. And delays if you wanted the animation to start a little bit later, not immediately. All right, so let me zoom out. So now we're gonna animate the word and not the character. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we can see the words animate and not just the individual characters. Looks nice. All right, great. So that's pretty much it for the on-scroll widget. So just remember that the animation out is applied only if the loop option is enabled in the options section, and 1em equals 16 pixels, and then the font type can be changed in the built-in Adobe Muse text option in the upper toolbar. So just as an example, let's say I didn't have the loop option checked in the options section, and I'll zoom out and I'll preview. We can see it animates in, and it won't animate out because the loop option is not selected. So if you just wanted an animation in, you would just uncheck the loop option in the options section. Okay, so now I'm going to add the animated text on scroll. So I'm going to go to the library panel, and again I'm going to type in animated text, and I'm going to bring in the animated text on scroll. So here I'm going to click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. All right, and I'm going to style the text similar to this first text here. So for the font size, I'm going to say 3 EM there, and for the font weight, say none, and I'm going to align it to the left there. All right, and then I'll click on the widget, go to the built-in text option in the upper toolbar. You can also use the text panel here, which is the same as this text option here in the upper toolbar, and select the web font from there. So here, because I have it here, I'll select Roboto Light, and there we have the text formatted here. And because this is a second instance of the animated text, even if it's on scroll or on load, you do want to change the instance number. So here I'm going to change the instance number to 2 because it's the second instance of the animated text widget on the website. And I'll just change the text so it's a bit different than the first text. So I'll say animate text on load or on scroll. Okay, and there we have the text. So now the text is different, animate text on load or on scroll. And I want to bring this down a bit. So it's not in the browser immediately, it's kind of lower within the website, and it will trigger once it comes into the website. So that's basically it. We can change the animation in, so I'll just pick an animation here. So I'll say fade and up big, and I don't want an animation out, so we'll just leave it like that. So I just want it to every time it comes into the browser, I want it to animate. And then we have the on scroll options here, so we can set offset from top and offset from bottom. So basically the way the on scroll works is that as soon as that text appears in the browser, it starts animating. So if you want it to start a little bit later after it enters the browser, you can set the offset here, and I'll go over that in a second as well. So let's go ahead and preview in the browser. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and there we have that on load animated text. And if I scroll, there we have the animated text on load or on scroll. And we had that kind of scroll jump there because this animation creates more space within the page so that it can animate the text up. So I can pick kind of a different text here because I don't have that much space below the website, or I could add more space to the website and that would work as well. So there we go. I scroll down, animated text on load or on scroll. And then as I go out and come back in, it animates the text. If you only wanted it to play once, you could go into the widget options, and then in the on scroll section, just select play once. Preview page in browser. Then I'll scroll and it animates. And as we can see, it doesn't animate again because it's only set to play once. So I'll go back into the widget and I'll uncheck play once. So let me go back into the preview page. Previewing the website. And so I'm scrolling, and as soon as that text hits the bottom of the browser, it starts animating. Or if we go back up, as soon as the text reaches the top of the browser, it starts animating as well. So that text hits the bottom or the top and it starts animating. Let me change the animation so it's a bit easier to see. So I'll just say for the animation, we'll say wobble there for the animation, and I'll preview. And there we go. As I scroll, that animation wobbles. So that text is hitting the bottom and then it animates. And then if we go up, and then if I go back in, as soon as the top of the text reaches the top of the browser, it animates as well. So you can actually set offsets, so there's a bit more timing before it starts animating. So I'll open the widget, and then in the on scroll section, I'll zoom in, and to set an offset within the viewport, which is the browser window, you want to enter in a negative value. So I'm going to say negative 200 pixels from the top and negative 200 pixels from the bottom. So it's basically going to wait 200 pixels before it starts animating from the top and the bottom. So let me zoom out here and I'll preview again. And there we have that. So I'll scroll and we can see the text hasn't started animating. It's not animating yet, but once it reaches 200 pixels from the top of the text, it starts animating. And that's using that offset there. And again, the same with the top. If I scroll down, we see it's not animating yet, and then it starts animating there. So the offset is a really great way to set more spacing from the bottom of the browser and the top of the browser. So if you don't want the text to start animating right away, as soon as it entered the browser, you could set an offset there. All right, so let me just change the animation one more time so we can see a different animation. And I'll say bounce in left. So I'll scroll, and we can see that text bounces in from the left. Looks good. All right, and I'll add one more text just for fun. So I'll hit Command C to copy this one and Command V to paste. And then I'll scroll down here, and then I'll set the text to choose from 74 text animations. Okay. And I'll align the text to the right. And for the animation in, I'll select one of these animations here. So I'll say zoom in right. All right, and then I'll shuffle it just for fun. All right, and that's it. And we also want to change the instance number because it's the third instance of the animated text widget on the website. So I'll bring this down a bit and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. There we have the on load text. We have the first animated text. And we have choose from 74 text animations. So that's basically it. The one thing I will say is if you don't want the text to be visible initially before it starts animating, you'll want to select an animation that brings in the text. So the text will be visible if it doesn't use an animation that doesn't bring in the text. So for example, when I selected wobble, we noticed that the text was visible and then the text started wobbling once it was we scrolled to it. But if you notice with this one, initially if I refresh and I scroll, we can't see the text, but then it animates in. So that's just selecting, the different animations, animate in and things like that, like bounce in, fade in, and different animations like that. So for this one, it was a zoom in, so all the text isn't initially visible, and then it zooms in just like that. Alright, so that's it for this video tutorial. I had a lot of fun working on this widget. I think it's a really fun widget, and if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below as well. So to access this widget, you can go to museforyoushop.com, and here you can click on subscribe now, and the animated text widget is right here, so you can click here. And here you can click add to cart to purchase individually, or again, you can get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year by clicking subscribe here, or you can subscribe with PayPal. Here's the preview page that I went over in the beginning there, so you can take a look here. And here are the features included, a few of the widget options, and the community section here. If you had any questions, you can also leave them here in this section, and this video will be posted right here as well. So that's it for this video tutorial. Again, I do this to help you build awesome websites without code. If you like this video tutorial, you can subscribe below. Also in the show more section below are links to other resources and links to museforyoushop.com. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.